Hello, good evening, and welcome to the FB4 Daily. It is Wednesday night, and everybody who is watching is very, very welcome. This show, of course, was brought to you by Paddy Power, a bookies, a website, and an app. If you gamble, please gamble responsibly, and if you do so, try with Paddy Power. Odds on Liverpool, specials on Liverpool, odds on all other sports. You know the drill by now. You know the drill. With me tonight is Chris Brack, and we are going to talk about Bernardo's amazing, I suppose, ban. We're going to talk about the Raheem Sterling situation that just keeps rumbling and rumbling on. For what reason, I don't know. The Mail are reporting that Man City have made a complaint against Michael Oliver, which is very, very, very amusing. And if you have any random questions whatsoever, absolutely fling them at us as the show goes on. We done a good few last night with Peter Smith, and it was really, really good. So if you have any random questions, absolutely go and do it. Chris Pross is straight in. He says, hello, good evening. North Red says, hello, people. Centurion says, pertaining to the Silva ban, he did us a favour. His handball negated the pen and we scored. EPL in our pockets now. Avo says, good evening, Gav and Reds fans. Good evening, Avo. How are you? Chris, Bernardo Silva has been given a one-game ban, £50,000 fine, and he has to go and do some sort of counselling or education or something along them lines. Scandalous, in my opinion, scandalous. But what do you make of it?
It's a bit of a weird subject to talk about, really, because I find it difficult being a white man to discuss racism anyway, because it's something I've never been subjected to. So it's a bit hard to sort of engage with it. I generally think with the thing I would say with Bravo Silva was a lot of it is naivety. Is it probably is a joke between two friends, but if you put an image like that on social media, you know, people can and have been offended by it. So you can't then say, well, it was a joke between friends. Well, it's a joke between friends. Don't then have it between you. You don't need to put it on social media so all your millions of followers see it if it's just between the two of you. Yeah. You know, so if anything, I think the education thing is probably more about, you know, engage your brain before you do something. Yeah. I was surprised it was only a one-game ban. I did think it'd be a massive ban because I think there is a little bit of the way it's been portrayed. But I was thinking you'd probably get like a 3-game ban, big fine, and that'd be it. One game seemed I mean, Harvey Elliott got longer for that for his comments about Harry Kane. Yeah,
when he was about 14. But you know what the thing is, like, I'm going to be honest, right? And I know I called for this last night, and I was going on about Bernardo Silva. I don't know if you've seen the show last night, Chris, but I was talking about it and saying, and I think it was yourself or Kev that was telling me that he got an extension up to the 23rd of October, and now it was, the 12th of November or whatever it was. People saying, you know, I was saying, like, why hasn't this been sorted out? You know, you see a fella get a red card, he may appeal it, and within 3 or 4 days, you know exactly what's gone on. So they had up until about 3 weeks ago to reply to the whole thing, and nothing was happening. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. When I seen the original thing happen, I thought it was ridiculous. It was, you know, people have told me no, there's racist connotations to this thing that he posted and stuff like that, and whatever it was a chocolate bar or something, whatever it was, right? But I thought it was ridiculous at the time. I thought it was a bit mad that he was getting charged by the FA, because the FA just charge everyone for everything. You know, it's just one of those things. But for it to go on that long, and you know, there's a precedent being set with certain things around racism where people thought this is going to be a 6-game ban, this is going to be 8 games, it could be anything, and then 1 game. You know, and the timing of it where they drop it in at the international break, you know, when he'll miss a game against Chelsea now, I think. You know, it's just, I think it's been a farce from start to finish. You know, like somebody says there, the ban is a joke. It's just lip service from the FA. You know, Emmett says Ben Chilwell put up a pic comparing a teammate to the Joker. What's the difference? I don't really know, but you see, when the FA kind of painted themselves into this corner by charging Bernardo Silva, it made things very, very awkward. And it's ridiculous now. Like Maverick is asking, what's the decision? The decision is a 1-game ban, a 50 grand fine, and he has to go to, I think it was something like face-to-face education with regards to racism, I presume. But just for me, and I'm not going to stay in all night. Like Stephen's asking, are we still talking about Silva? Well, we kind of have to, because the ban came out, and the timing of it just after the Liverpool game was intriguing to me, anyway. But look, they've set another precedent now where it used to be, this could be 5 or 6 games. Now you're literally going, well, just be racist if you want, because you'll only get a 1-game ban, and you can always point at Bernardo Silva for that. So it's just one of those things that I wanted to cover from the start. What's the next thing? The Raheem Sterling thing keeps going on. What's getting to me here is, Chris, he overreacts on the pitch. It looks like it's sorted out at full time. It's one of those where he has a go at Gomez. Southgate has to make a statement, because like he's got to be asked, why isn't Sterling playing on Thursday? Why isn't he playing? So he has to make a statement. And there's talk of a leak coming out of the England team that got it out to the media and stuff. But listen, he had a row with a guy he had a row with Joe Gomez. He got punished for it. I don't see why we have to keep taking sides, and you've a lot of people saying, "Oh, Raheem Sterling's the victim of because who he is," and it's just going on and on and on. Like, God, I'm just saying, Chris, I missed the day where lads have a bust up, they shake hands on it. You're not playing on Thursday. That's the end of it. But there seems to be argument after argument on social media about this. Is that just the age we're in now?
I think it is just the age we're in. I mean, I for 15, 20 years played hockey, not ice hockey, field hockey, and I fell out with teammates all the time in training, because you'd go in for a tackle hard, or competitively, and you would fall out, and you'd all have a laugh and a joke about it. The next week it's forgotten. It's like, it's what happens. It's competitive sport. Possibly I think Sterling has gone a bit far with the Gomez situation. From what you read, you see Gomez seems to have probably been the bit more responsible one, as in like he's tried to not really flare it up, but it's a bit of a storm in the teacup. And do you know what? In some ways, you hear a story about England from years ago, is that it was all cliques and they didn't really talk to each other and everyone kept themselves to themselves. And there was an accusation of the England players that they didn't really didn't care what happened in football. Whereas here's a lad who's, going back to Liverpool is always hard for him, because he always gets a hard time from Liverpool fans because of the way he left, and also Liverpool fans know if you boo him, it seems to wind him up. And do you know what? He was still wound up because he'd lost a big game. I don't know. To me, I was just like, I saw it, went, oh, I sort of chuckled, went, oh, so we've obviously got into City's skin a little bit, and then with all the hoo-ha and he can't play for this and he can't do that, I was like, oh God. To be honest, the big command just be for the person who leaked it.
Yeah, well, that's the talk, is that there was a leak within the camp, and that's how it got out. And
whether it's a player or
forced Southgate into making a statement. I've seen Man City fans say that Sterling's being hung out to dry by Southgate. I don't really see how it was. Stephen Mack wants us to talk about Liverpool. Look, we're talking about stuff that's gone on since Sunday with regards to Liverpool, and we will get on to other stuff as we go along. It's just, for me, and I think you agree, Chris, it's just being fueled by social media now, isn't it? And everyone has to everyone is entitled to an opinion, but everyone has to kind of make something out of this, when it's just literally two lads having a bust up and then forgetting about it an hour later.
Yeah, I mean, from all accounts, Gomez went to Southgate and said, "Don't send him home. It's a bust up. It's happened. With kissed and made up now." And the next day they're fine.
Yeah,
I just like, couldn't care less. I'm pretty certain, when you read autobiographies of like Gerrard, of Carragher, of Fowler, they've all had a fight with a teammate.
Yeah,
because it just happens. It's competitive sport. They all get wound. We all get wound up, and now and again it boils over. It's not,
I think the simple thing, and Maverick touches on it there. A fallout with a teammate is fine, but trying to scratch him is unedifying. Raheem should have known better. That's the big key for it. He should have known better. He shouldn't have reacted like that. He probably feels like an idiot because he acted like one. And then that's it. It's one of those,
Unfortunately, if it had not been leaked, people would have seen a scratch and go with his face. And most of us would have just gone, oh, he just got caught in training.
Yeah.
And that's all that would have happened. And no one would have batted an eyelid about it. And then that's it. I don't know. It's cracker stuff like that. I just don't see why people get so wound up about it.
Yeah. Why
you have to take a side, and he's been this, he's been that. It's like, oh God, There are more important things I have to get worried about.
Yeah, a couple of people are concerned here about your health. They say it sounds like you need a big dollop of Vicks Vapor Rub. You sound like you're struggling. The gang flu has not left you yet.
The gang flu is it's on its second coming. It's like a horror.
Yeah.
Like a horror villain, he keeps coming back.
Yeah, well, look, we'll nudge you through this. But as I said, Grizz came close to dying on the Fatback 4 2 weeks ago when he said synonymous. He came close to dying last Sunday because he just got way too emotional. So just hang in there. Somebody there, I think it was Centurion, says the City are basing their legacy on a rivalry with LFC, a bit like Manchester United. The last thing I'm going to say on the City and Liverpool thing is. The Mail are reporting, and some big Man City accounts are reporting as well, that Man City have made a formal complaint against Michael Oliver due to the game on Sunday. And one of the best comments I've seen come out was, funny that, because Pep Guardiola said his handshake with the referee after the game, thanking him for the game, was completely, genuine. So he's been lying. So funny that. But
it's just bully boy tactics. We can't get our own way, so we're going to make a complaint.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh dear. I mean, as someone I've saw a few people said on social media, that'd be like us complaining about the match referee last year in the Etihad when he didn't send Company off.
Anthony
and
Taylor.
Company admitted, and Company admitted it. Later said, "I probably got away with one there."
Yeah.
And he knew he had. And you know what? It wasn't a difficult call. He could, and we could go conspiracy theories, say, "Well, he's from Manchester" and all that sort of stuff. But Liverpool didn't do that because can you imagine the uproar if Liverpool had done that?
Yeah, and I just think overall, Man City, the way their manager conducted themselves, the way their players then in turn conducted themselves, and the way they've gone on since has been atrocious, to be perfectly honest with you. And long may it continue, because the more they do things like that, the better it is for everyone else, I think, because it's shown a weakness already 12 games in.
Yeah, the way the manager conducted himself reflected in his players, because they were all losing their heads.
Yeah.
Over silly things. I mean, you've seen things with De Bruyne where someone didn't follow a pass for him. Instead of running back and getting it, he's just like stood there, flailing arms in the air, looking at the sky, going, "Oh, what are you doing?" You're thinking that's not really how De Bruyne plays. He's all action gets involved, and they all seem a bit like it's all against us. It's like,
yeah, and it was easy for them. I said this last night. It was easy for them to throw their arms and flail their arms around a little bit because the manager was doing it.
Yeah. It's a bit like, I mean, we probably have that a little bit at Old Trafford because we never play well there, and I think that's why I was quite pleased we got the draw at Old Trafford because we could easily have just done the Rashford goal went against us. It's not fair. VAR should disallowed it, but we didn't lose our heads and start kicking around and having a go at the referee and complain about the referee. You have to just get your head down and try and play your game.
Yeah, I think it was Maverick there says get a good lamboon at curry into you. That'll chase all those flu bugs away. Ooh, so that might be a show.
That's tempting though.
Stephen Max has a big spoon of morphine. I don't know if we can go that far. I'm going to be honest with you.
I might not be in the show again if I have one of them.
Yeah. What else have we got there? Force says social media is the problem. Even now, Sterling and Gomez may be friends on social media is making the episode bigger than those involved even now think it is. Yeah, that's spot on. And I think the more people come out and try justify anybody's actions within this, it just keeps going on and on and on and on and on. So, he also says, see, you're acting like petulant kids, and it's only because they're worried. I agree with you. Ankle injuries for two of our boys, says Centurion. So that's Andy Robertson and Mo Salah. Mo Salah travelled to Egypt. I was wondering why he did, but somebody did inform me that he probably has to go as part of protocol to go and be, even though he's in like a moon boot, he has to be assessed by Egypt and their medics to say, yeah, you're okay, you don't need to play. Andy Robertson, like Centurion says there, that the rest could do Mo and Robbo good. The Robertson one is the bit more worrying one.
Yeah, because he's admitted he's not trained properly for 2 weeks, which Liverpool have kept under wraps. So if he's not trained properly for 2 weeks, he's obviously carrying something. Now, like you said, a 2 week rest might do him good. In terms of Mo, I mean, I was listening to the Blood Red podcast, and they were saying they saw him after the game, said no limp, he was walking around, no boots or anything like that. So the moon boot thing, I think as soon as any footballer has some sort of foot or ankle injury, I think we just put them in a moon boot.
Stabilise, yeah.
Stabiliser, take all the pressure off it and say, like, look, this is how we'll get swelling out of your foot. I mean, look, they've been sensible. I think because it's a competitive game, like a qualifier, I think you have to go to your national team report for duty and let them say, no, you're not fit.
Yeah.
Which we had to do in Naby Keita, and unfortunately, in Naby Keita's case, he was
played
told
anyway.
He was told he was fit enough to play, which was frustrating. Whereas friendly, she can just say, no, he's not fit, and no one quibbles it.
Yeah. It's look. I think it's good timing. I think if these lads get 2 weeks rest, come back, we play Palace, we play Brighton, I think, don't we?
Yeah.
A couple of games there that we should get through. So it's one of those where Robertson may not have trained properly, but a little rest and get him back, I'm absolutely fine with it. The Salah stuff, I'd like to see him rested again, and I've seen a couple of my friends have said, no, if you can rest Salah for the Palace game, it'd even be better. Avo the Third says, what's your favourite Christmas nut out of the red plastic net? I don't know what that is, but I'm going to say you do you?
Yeah, I know what it is.
Okay.
I don't know what they're called.
So it's just a bag of nuts in a red
net. It's
net.
a bag of nuts, but you need a proper nutcracker to open them.
Is there a Brazil nut in them?
Probably.
If there's a Brazil nut in it, I'll have it. But I'm not going for any of these things where I need like pliers to open them.
I'll say hazelnuts. I can't think of the name of the ones.
Yeah, it would ruin Christmas for me if I had to sit on the sofa watching a movie while I break stuff open with the pliers. I think you're going a bit too far. Jono says, when company 2-footed Mo Salah last season got away with a straight red challenge, we took our licks and moved on, yet City can't do the same. Spoiled brats. Just loads of stuff coming in like that, and I think you're dead right. I genuinely do. I just think they weren't getting their own way. They flailed around, they threw their arms around, they shouted and kicked and screamed, and it didn't work for them. And the more it happens, the better.
I know the fans won't like this, but in a weird way, it's probably done us a favour, because no one's talking about Liverpool top of the league and the pressure. There is a little bit of it, but nowhere near as much as there was last year, because they're all talking about how City were hard done by and robbed. And quite frankly, I'm like, well, keep talking about it.
Yeah.
That's why. And Leicester probably in the same boat, going, no one's talking about us. Good. Yeah. No one's talking about you. Let it go under the radar.
We'll see how much they are hard done by and how much they believe what they're saying if they go out and they play Chelsea next, I think. And when they go out and play Chelsea and the decision goes against them, do they react well, or do they just slump again and see what happens, So we'll have to wait and see. Stephen Mack says Mo's going to make £1 million just to turn up in Egypt. That's a fair point. Force asks, when is Shaqiri back? I don't know what's going on with Shaqiri. The last I heard, he was injured. Graves, I can tell you, reckons he's not injured. So make it at what you will. If you have any more random questions, absolutely throw them in. We have about 15 minutes to go, and random questions are king during the international break. Go on, Chris. You're going to say something there.
If Chris doesn't think he's injured, what do you think is wrong with him?
He just thinks that he's not in favour whatsoever.
I don't know why, because he hasn't really shown his signs of being a disruptive player. He just, I think the problem he's got is his best work for us is when we played 4-2-3-1, and we just haven't done it at the moment. On Physio Room, they said he's not back till the 23rd of November.
Okay, so he is still showing it as out. I think if he is over the injury, I just think that not much of a pre-season for him. He comes back, he gets another slight injury, he's gone again. I just think it's very stop-start for him, and we do know how Klopp likes to work players back in, especially if they're not bang on first 11 players that he feels he can give time to bed back in, with regards to a training schedule and stuff like that.
Look, it wouldn't surprise me if he went in January, but I think Klopp will let him go in January if he can bring a replacement in. I would suggest.
Kev O'Sullivan says he's seen a story today linking Pep with a move back to Bayern. I don't believe that. I think my money would be Juve or Paris Saint-Germain.
My money would be Juve, because he's done Germany, he's done Spain, he's done England, he's done leagues in all three of them. So he'll want to do what Mourinho's done. He'll want to win a fourth league in a fourth. He want to win a league in a fourth country.
Yeah. I think it's a toss up between PSG and Juve, but Juve, well, they're both nailed on to win leagues, so you can really concentrate on Champions League with them. Juve have they're really well set up, but Paris Saint-Germain are the sort of side that can say to them, listen, go and buy this, and we won't have a problem.
I think Juve are struggling though, aren't they? Because all these frees they brought in now, I think financially they're struggling to pay the wages, which is the reason Emre Can's not playing anymore. They can't afford. I believe some sort of clause in his contract, for payments and stuff like that, which is why he's not in the Champions League squad. which
Okay.
I think Emre Can will go in January because I don't think they can afford to keep him.
He's been linked with Manchester United quite heavily. Avo the Third says walnuts, hazelnuts, almonds, and Brazil nuts. I'll stick with the Brazil nut, thanks. Random question, Gav. Where did you have your first sexual awakening? I'm not getting into that. That's one thing I'm definitely not answering.
Me neither.
Yeah, that's okay. Stephen Max says Guinness or English. I'm not too sure what that means, Stephen.
Well, I'll say English because I don't like Guinness.
Do you not like Guinness?
No, I've tried it a couple of times.
Well, I'm 37, as you know, from Ireland, and my first pint of Guinness was last December. So there you go.
I've tried it twice.
Don't like it.
Yeah, no, don't like it. I'll maybe try it again. You know, your taste do always change.
Tell you what to do. Cold day, really cold day. Walk into a pub on a really cold day, into a warm pub, and ask for a Guinness, a good Guinness, and it's really good on days like that. I'll be honest with you. Barry Carr says heroes are celebrations.
Celebrations for the Maltesers.
Okay, are they the ones that used to have the Galaxy truffle in them?
Yeah, let's not go into that. It still hurts.
Yeah, they got rid of the Galaxy truffle, didn't they?
Replace it with a shitty Twix.
Yeah, so that is celebrations are the ones that got rid of the Galaxy truffle.
Yeah.
Well,
Heroes got those horrible cream egg things. No.
Yeah, no, I'll still stick with celebrations then. Bold Show says Centurion Pep will not win the Champions League again.
Well, he's not won one since he hasn't had Messi, has he?
Yeah.
Which he hates being reminded about.
I don't know if he won't win it again, but I can't see him doing it with City. And I've said it, and I keep saying it. I hope we do draw them in the Champions League this season. I really do. Let me see. If you're doing the cooking and you drop a sausage on the floor, do you take it or give it to the wife?
Give it to the wife.
Is it cooked? That's the question I'd ask. No, I just eat it. If it's a cooked sausage that falls on the floor's fairly clean. It's hot food. It's grand. You know what I mean?
It's all right. Then again, actually, my wife doesn't eat red meat anyway, so she definitely wouldn't be impressed either way.
Force 22 says pork pie or Scotch egg. There's a lot of Christmas stuff coming in here. We're gonna have loads of fun at Christmas.
Yeah, pork pie.
Neither.
What?
Not into them. No, not happening. Adam Petruccione says, what do you think about locals complaining about tourists taking pics or videos during You Never Walk Alone? Oh, so this is an interesting one. This is because I think it was. Now I know there was a girl there the other day, so I'll get to her and that incident in a minute. But there was one where I think it was it Rwandan? They were from Rwanda or Ghana, or it was an African country anyway, where this guy was on the cops saying You Never Walk Alone. He was in tears. Have you seen this?
I've not seen this. No.
Right. So this guy's someone will tell me now, but I think it was either from Rwanda or Ghana. It was an African country. Okay, I think it was his first time at Anfield. He's in the cop. He's singing away. He's in tears. This guy, like, it's the emotions completely get the better of him at the fact that he's at Anfield, right? And there was a little bit of, oh, look at this, people were making comments like, oh, look at these coming over, taking tickets, blah, 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 which is a bit ridiculous. But look, that's the way people go. But then there was a girl, and she was in the cop again, and she was singing at a camera. Now, I don't know whether it was an official camera at the ground or someone just holding the camera on her, like a friend or something. I think she was from Australia. She's singing You Never Walk Alone, and people went off on one like she was doing some sort of performance and it was fake and stuff like that. Listen,
okay,
I've been on the cop plenty of times. When You Never Walk Alone is sung, it's quite emotional no matter how many times you've been there, and when the song starts and stuff like that. I get, hairs in the back of your neck sort of stuff. So if anybody wants to go to Anfield, stand on the cop, film themselves, FaceTime their friends, do whatever they want, they've absolutely every right to do it. They've as much right as anybody else to be there and do that. And the funny thing is, right, and I've seen a great one from Ray Brady, who's off the LFC Day Trippers, and he said a lot of controversy about this person singing into a camera, You'll Never Walk Alone. And he put up a video of a guy who's in the Stadio Olimpico after we qualified for the 2018 Champions League final against Roma, and this guy's singing straight at the camera as 5,000-6,000 Liverpool fans sing Mo Salah's song, and there was nothing about that, and everyone was jealous of him, and it was a great video and stuff like that. So you know, I really don't. I don't.
I
don't
just think
go
it's a
for all
little.
this.
I think it's a little bit of elitism from the regulars. Like, oh, why are they coming here? Why are they doing that? I think people sometimes lose appreciation for. Look, I don't go to the game regularly, sadly. You know, I go whenever I can get a ticket off my brother. So, you know, for me, every time I go out is a little bit of an event. And I'll openly admit it. For the Arsenal game, the 5-5, I filmed You'll Never Walk Alone. I filmed my daughter singing it.
Yeah.
Because it's her first ever game at Anfield. So she's got that as a memory. So if for some people, like if they're from Ghana or Australia, they'll go to Anfield, they'll see that game. They may never go to Anfield, ever. So why would you not record it? Because that'd be your memory of,
Yeah.
George, when I went to Anfield 10 years ago. Brilliant, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, like, to be honest with you, I don't think I've ever filmed a second of footage in Anfield. And that's because literally when I go into a football ground, my phone goes in my pocket. So most of the time I've been out all day and my phone's gone dead. So I don't, but I just don't see what the problem is.
Me personally, I think the only time I've used my phone at Anfield was I took quite a few pictures because my daughter first time. And every now and again I do one picture when I get in when the ground's full, just, you know, send it to some of my friends, say this is where I'm sat.
Yeah.
And then it goes away then. But I'm not really bothered.
At the end of the day...
View it in your own way. You know, it's not really a big issue, I don't think.
Yeah, at the end of the day, listen, if you want to go into the ground and watch it without your phone, take a few photos, selfies, video yourself singing, whatever you want to do, it's completely up to you. You know, and you can't tell one person that's a brilliant video and the second person that's not. So, look, that's the end of it.
My biggest bugbear at Anfield is, I've seen it twice now, is the early leavers. I don't get it.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
I never leave a ground early.
Yeah, I never leave the ground early. And I saw some fella get pelters in the Leicester game when he was leaving, and he heard the penalty. He went to run back up, and I saw a few people turn around and said, "No, get off.
Yeah,
you left."
Yeah,
you know. And there were some people that left early for the 5-5. As only when Origi scored, you seen them all piling back in. I was thinking, I'd rather they just went out.
Yeah.
If you with your team, support to the end, but also more than anything else, if it's costing you 50, 60 quid to go and watch Liverpool, you may as well watch it to the end, get your money's worth.
Yeah, well, that's where I am as well, and I'm in no hurry to get out of the ground.
No.
Usually when I go over, I'm definitely not getting a late flight that night. I usually stay over that night anyway, so I'm definitely not in a rush to get out of the ground or away from the ground. You know, I'd usually have a point in one of the pubs around there. So there's no issue there. El Rocho, with a load of numbers after his name, says, "How good is Fabinho?"
Different level.
He is. A lot of people say first name on team sheets, but I think he's virgin on that. And I know we have Van Dijk and Alisson and Salah and Mane and stuff, but he's really turning into not just a midfield pivot, but I think he's turning into a pivot the whole team works around now.
I didn't think we'd find a better defensive midfielder after Mascherano. I thought that was the best we were ever going to get.
He's
Mascherano. He's got all the tenacity of Mascherano, but he's definitely got a little bit of the Alonso guile about him.
Yeah, I said this before. Kenny Cunningham on off the ball. That's yeah. So,
I heard that. Yeah.
So he had to go off him twice, and I just can't see where Kenny's coming from on that, because, you know, you have to, like Kenny saying, oh, he's been exposed here and he's been exposed there, and I don't think people understand that his other two mates are off looking after left wings and right wings. You know, they're literally emptying out midfield a lot of the time, especially in a transition where, especially down, you know, if we lose a ball out wide, you know, he is exposed. The ground he covers is brilliant. His tackling is really good. He's got a little bit cuter in the tackles he goes into and how he does it, which is fine by me. His passing range is really good. He scores at the weekend. Listen, he's just a brilliant player, and he'll have bad games, don't get me wrong. Everyone does. He'll have really good games. He'll have brilliant games. But I think if you can get Fabinho on the pitch and get him 7, 8 out of 10 most weeks, there's not many games of football you're not going to win. That's just the way it is. Stephen Mack says the mobile phone culture is the end of the world. Fact. Avi Hunter says, hello, Avi, how are you, my man? Go on, Chris, I know you're going to cut in there.
Yeah, of course. I mean, the mobile phone culture can't be the end of the world. Why should we be doing podcasting for a start?
Yeah, that's true.
So that does help. But yeah, no, Mascherano, Fabinho, he's we still haven't lost a game with him started, which is mad.
Yeah, no, I don't think we have a game.
And he didn't get booked, did he, against City either?
No, he didn't get booked. A lot of people had him down to get booked, but he absolutely didn't.
So the good thing is, Palace away is probably a perfect sort of Fabinho type game. And then if he does get booked, he's going to miss Brighton at home. And I would sort of say if I was going to pick a game for him to miss, I would like to think our midfield would be fine for Brighton at home.
Yeah.
Not counting your chickens, but you would expect to beat Brighton at home.
Yeah.
I
just think he's been a brilliant signing. He's being managed brilliantly from the start, and I suppose the short delay in getting him into the team and getting him used to what way we play last year was really good, but it's proper coming to fruition this season. That's the way I look at it, and I think he can get better. Which is the funny thing.
Yeah, definitely think. I mean, we talked before about Emre Can being linked to Man United. Fabinho is the type of player that Man United need. They need someone who is as mobile as him and as physical as him.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what Kante did for Leicester and for Chelsea. It's the mobility as well as the tenacity. That's what the difference is. Fabinho is a much better passer on the ball.
Yeah, Avi Hanser says we're coming closer to the January transfer window. He's looking forward to it, and then he's doing googly eyes. Avi, come out and
Bruno
say,
Fernandes.
Yeah, if you want to come out with Bruno Fernandes again, mate, I'm fully behind you. We had great fun with that in the summer. But listen, if you have something that you want to say, just say it here. You're in a safe place.
Should we go with the Timo Werner shouts?
Yeah, a few people are mentioning Kenny Cunningham here now. I just thought it was ridiculous. The way he went at him was ridiculous, and the way he tried to make out off the top of his head, he was remembering stuff from the game on Sunday.
You could hear him read them off the list.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Jono says Bernardo Silva getting a 1-game suspension after he played us. I thought the conspiracy was everyone wanted us to win the league. That's a fair point as well, and people seem to forget that at times. But look, I wanted to ask people that are watching here. I seen an ad on, I think it might have been Twitter today, for Football Manager 2020. Now, I don't have Football Manager 2020. If Football Manager 2020 are listening and they want me to send me a copy, they can absolutely do so. I don't think they will. But I remembered, and Chris, because he's not well, and it's his dying wish to play that game. But 2018 I have on the other laptop. Anybody play Football Manager? If they do, what team should I start with? I just want to start with a random team and try bring them to glory, I suppose. So if anybody has a team that you'd like to put forward as a suggestion, absolutely throw it at me. And if you have any more random questions in the next 5 minutes, absolutely throw them there too. A lot of people are happy that Avi's in the room. Barry Carr for one. Avi Hantra said he would love Timo Werner, but he knows nothing on that, which is great. He still believes in Bruno. Nothing else matters. Listen, you stick to Bruno and don't let any of them begrudgers get to you whatsoever.
Has he done anything this year? Has he done anything this year?
Who? Bruno Fernandes? I don't know. I just stopped worrying about what he was doing when he didn't sign for us on deadline day.
Can Avi do a scouting report?
Yeah. Avi, I'm sure, will give us a good scouting report. Barry Carr suggested Accrington Stanley. Force says Hartlepool United. I wanted to go somewhere not in England. I think the game's too easy when you're in England. So throw me some names. I was thinking of Bâle in Switzerland because they're quite decent in Switzerland, but they're Europa League level, so I could probably go and do something there. Avo says, favourite Bourne film, Gav? Are they all as good as each other? That is something I've watched a lot of, the Bourne Identity films, and I like them all. I do like them all.
I think the first one's probably still the best.
Yeah, maybe. I think there's about 4 or 5 of them now, is there? So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. He's been better than last season, says Avi Hanser. So you never know. I don't think it's going to be hard to get someone in January. I do believe we'll sign one player in January. I'd like to see us sign one to bring in and just freshen things up a little bit, probably in the forward area, because
me too.
Firmino will hit a drop. Mane will hit a drop at some stage. I think this injury for Salah is hanging over him a little bit over the last month, 6 weeks, and we don't want that hanging over him coming into the business end, so something like that. Kev O'Sullivan says, I didn't realise Ryan Fraser's contract was running out. Might not be one for us, but maybe a Leicester. He was listed, or he was apparently an interest in him the other day, but that's being rubbished by James Pearce, who we all love. Force says Royal Antwerp. Barry Carr says Ferencváros. There's some great names in there now. Now we're talking. Stephen Max says, if you're playing Football Manager at the age of over 25, you need help. Listen, you know me too well. I need help in more ways than one. Matty 6 times says, take Patrick's Athletic to the Club World Cup. I can't, because that's an Irish team and it's not a team in Ireland that I like. So I can't do that. I did have the team in Ireland that I like and done 6 trebles in a row with them before the computer absolutely crashed and died and lost everything on it. Sandro Tonali. Keep a close eye on him too, says Avi Hantra. There's a name. Sandro Tonali. Chris...
Never heard of him.
We're before we finish up, we're in the and no one's thrown in any more random questions by the looks of it. We're not in the transfer window. I keep saying that when we get the international breaks, but we're in the
7 weeks.
Sorry, I'll start it again.
International break.
Yeah, there we go. International break. I thought I was having a stroke there for a second. We're in the international break. A lot of players have gone away. What would you like to see? Do you just want them to play the least amount of games as possible, come back, fit and raring to go? Because I think I'm always wary of games after the international break, and Palace away, although we've done well there in recent years, and they're probably not as good as at home as people think, it can be a slippery little fixture.
Yeah, because, how many Palace players would have gone away on the international duty? I think probably not many. Probably Zaha and Ayew, they're probably the only two I can think that will go international duty.
Yeah.
So, then again, but you look at who's on the bet. Joe Gomez, I don't think will get much minutes anyway. He doesn't get much minutes for us either, but I don't see Joe Gomez play. The 2 Dutch lads always play, like at Olympia. I'm assuming Trent will get minutes, but he seems to favour Trippier at the moment.
Okay.
Which, I think Trent's the better player, but from what I've read, Trippier is doing really well at Atletico Madrid, so, that's a bit of a Eve way. I'd be amazed if Henderson plays both games. I was surprised Henderson wasn't sent back.
Yeah.
Because I'm still not convinced he's fully well. I think he's got my Genk flu. So I'm surprised. That's what's amazed how he played an hour. I could barely walk around the house, and he's playing an hour of football. It's mad.
Yeah.
I think that the big worry I always think for international for us is the Brazilian lads, because it's a lot of travelling. Mm-hmm. Mane and Salah. Because you see the pictures sometimes they play on. They look horrendous. Yeah. Luckily I don't think Keita's gone away. I don't think he has.
Okay.
So I think I think Palace might be a game for Keita actually. Maybe something like a Keita, Wijnaldum, Fabinho midfield.
Okay.
And then we could probably if we need to rest Salah, maybe that's a game where you maybe try Chamberlain behind the front two.
Yeah, could do something like that. Yeah.
Bit of a change up. It still keeps the side strong, and if there's no Andy Robertson, I have no problem with Milner filling in for one game at left back.
I'd expect Andy Robertson to be back. I think Salah might get the rest, but we'll build up to that as we go along. But I think everyone will agree with you that just get them all back fit and raring to go. Adam Petruccione says Grasshopper Zurich, great show. Barry says Malmo and Joe Gardens. I really like that Grasshopper Zurich show though. I want somebody that's not at the top of the division, so I have to fight my way to win a league title, but then get into Europe and go from there. Grasshopper
Genk.
Zurich. Well, no.
Go for Genk.
Grasshopper Zurich, I haven't heard of in Europe in a long time, so that might be the one, Adam. Do you know what, Adam? I'm going to go with them, and I'm going to give you little updates just to really annoy you. It really annoys, and especially annoys Stephen. Have you seen the Advent box of wine in Aldi, Gav? I don't drink wine, so I can't go with that. North Red says LFC women versus Everton women at Anfield on Saturday. Chris, that's something close to your heart.
Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday. Sorry, he says Saturday. It's Sunday. You're going to it?
I am, yeah. I'm going with my dad and my little girl.
Good. And it's been getting some good publicity as well, which is great to see.
Yeah, I think they've opened the cop up now, so we've got at least 2 stands getting used, so it'll be good. Actually, hopefully get a win. It'd be nice to finally get a win on the board, to be honest. Okay,
the Brazilian lads are in Saudi Arabia, says Emmett. So that side of the world, which is probably easier than playing in South America. Barry Carr says for herself, Gav, she's 7.5 months pregnant, mate, and I don't think she's allowed to drink boxes of wine throughout the month of December, but I will ask. Avo says Widzew Lodz. Oh yeah, that's Polish. Would I be right in saying? Widzew Lodz. Yeah. I'm going to go with Grasshopper Zurich. I'm going to go with them. I'm going to start tonight. 70 quid for an advent calendar of wine out of Aldi. Not a fucking chance. That's not happening. Not happening. They're expecting 20,000 at the game at the weekend, says Not Red. So There you go. So listen, I'm off to take Grasshopper Zurich from mid-table right through to European glory on Football Manager 2018. As I've said, if anybody's watching and knows Football Manager 2020 bosses and wants to send me a copy, absolutely go. Sister, perhaps. I don't have a sister, Barry. If you would like a full rundown of my family tree and the condition that they're in, just email me at lfcdaytrippers@gmail.com and I will fill you in. Yeah, I'm off to do that. Tomorrow is Thursday and I'll be back. Go on, Chris.
I'm going to watch the City game again just to cheer myself up.
Okay, no problem. Get a lemsip into you, will you, bud?
I will do.
Yeah, I'm really, really worried at this stage. But look, that's it. I'll be back tomorrow. I don't know who the guest is. I will sort that out tomorrow. You'll find this on YouTube. You'll find it on Periscope. You'll find it on, your podcast apps, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Go and follow us on all them things. Subscribe. Do whatever you need to do. Go and do it. And look, as soon as we have anything that's going out, you will find it first. We did do a little trip to the Classic Football Shorts pop-up shop in Dublin on the weekend. It was just a reason to go over the point. Me and Paddy went and had a lovely time. We done just a little 6 or 7 minute audio clip, and I've put that onto YouTube along with some of the photos of the jerseys we've seen in there. So if you want to go onto YouTube and get that, hit the like button on YouTube. You know all that messing. Hit that. Hit the like. Subscribe. 2 prizes to give away before the end of the month for people that subscribe on YouTube. So go and do that too. I've talked enough. Chris is dying. As I said, I'm off to conquer Football Manager. Over and out.